There it is. He throws that hand clean over the top. Epps comes back with an overhand right, and down goes Phillips. That's the first knockdown in the fight. Carlos Padilla separates the two fighters.
2:47 of the 6th round. The second knockdown's coming up in a moment, but in between, Phillips took an awful beating from Robby Epps. They're going to have to work on that eye between fights, I think.
Yes, they are.
Got to give it a good rest.
They may have to try that. Here they come in close, Don. Epps is setting them up, and that right hand catches him right on the chin. A solid right hand right on the chin.
Sports Channel presents Champions of Tomorrow. At Las Vegas' newest sports center, the Showboat Hotel, championship boxing at its best. Tonight, Sports Channel presents the U.S. Welterweight Championship. Greg Stevens versus Babs McCarthy. Hello again, everyone, and a Happy New Year. I'm Don Dunphy, your ringside commentator, speaking to you for Sports Channel at the famed Showboat Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada, in another of our Champions of Tomorrow boxing series. And, of course, with me is the famous boxing promoter from Las Vegas and a wonderful color man on these shows, Tony Trudnich. Tony, what do you think of tonight's main event?
Well, Don, I think tonight's main event is going to be absolutely fantastic.
For the main event, we're going to see Robby Epps and James Williams in a 10-round middleweight go. What about Epps and Williams?
Well, as you know, Robby Epps' last fight, he fought the middleweight champion from Texas, Sugar Ray Phillips, and had Sugar Ray Phillips down and knocked out by the 6th round. A tremendous boxer and a hard puncher. James Williams, on the other hand, has fought mostly light heavyweights and is now in the middleweight division. So, again, it should be a super fight between a boxer and a puncher.
Okay, Tony. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Sports Channel and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event without the express written consent of Sports Channel is prohibited. Now, let's go up to America's premier ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon.
All right, fans, here we go. This is a 10-round middleweight bout, and presenting to you on my right, fighting in brown trunks with a beige stripe, hailing from Portland, Oregon, rated number 14 in the United States, a veteran of 20 as a pro, winning 13 out of 20, 8 by knockout. Let us welcome the newcomer, James C.Q. Williams. And C.Q. stands for Cat Quick. And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, no stranger here, great knockout artist, 13 knockouts in his 26 wins, winning 26 out of 27, hailing from L.A., weighing 160 pounds, number 14, from L.A., Robby Epps. Epps at 160, Williams 160 and a half.
Well, you can see by that roar of the crowd that Robby Epps is a very popular fighter here, Tony.
Look how he towers over Williams, and Williams is 5'11". Epps at 6'2" is probably one of the tallest middleweights around now, Don.
He's just about the same size as Tommy Hearns, who was only a welterweight.
Yes, sirree.
All right. Robby Epps is wearing the purple trunks. He's the white young man, and James Williams is the black young man. He's wearing the brown trunks. Round one, it is scheduled for 10. The scoring here in Las Vegas under the Nevada rules, the 10-point must, scored by 3 judges. The referee does not score, although he's in complete charge of the fight. The mandatory 8 count is in effect. And they're starting to trade punches already, with Williams forcing the action. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect, and a man cannot be saved by the bell except in the last round. Williams is a banger who moves straight in. Epps is a pretty good boxer, but he will mix it on occasion. Right now, Williams is making Epps fight his fight. Williams continues to press the action in the early moments of round 1, and he's taking some pretty good shots to the head thrown by Epps. Williams has good balance there, Tony, as he leans there and holds Epps against the ropes.
Yes, he does, Don. Williams just had a very controversial split decision loss to Sugar Ray Seals, the 72 gold medal winner in Seattle about a month ago. And a lot of people felt that Williams took the fight, but who knows? We weren't there to see it.
Now, Epps would like to fight at long range. He's the better boxer of the two, but Williams is controlling the action right now and maybe has hurt Epps with a couple of those shots to the head. Epps just cannot get out in the center where he wants to be.
Epps has got those long arms like Tommy Hearns and likes to stick that jab out and come over with that quick right hand. But as you say, Williams is crowding him and making him fight his fight.
Now Epps is scoring, but Williams is also scoring. Williams has dominated the fighting so far. As I say that, Epps takes the play away. A minute to go in round 1. Epps is leaving himself wide open for some of those shots. Now Epps has got punching room, so let's see what he does with it. He's the tall one in the purple trunks. See that long right hand by Epps. It's a punishing punch. And he's landing it again. That's his bread and butter punch, isn't it, Tony?
Yes, it is. That's the one that he took Sugar Ray Phillips out, the Texas middleweight champ. He kept that jab going, set him up, and when Phillips stepped over, hit him with that straight right hand.
However, Epps cannot continue to take the left hooks to the head that Williams has been hitting him with. 10 seconds left in round 1.
As you know, the last fight, Epps nearly lost with that cut over his left eye, so we're going to have to see if it stays closed up this time.
This has been a good round for Williams. A very fine round of boxing, Tony.
A good round of boxing. Both of these young men know that this is the up-and-coming type of fights. Getting in front of the public here for Sports Channel can only mean one shot at the title in a future date.
Mary Ann Harrington is the card girl. Joey Curtis is the referee. You'll notice the referee collects the slips from the 3 judges and brings them to the commission after every round. We've got a good crowd here tonight, Tony.
Yes, we do, and we also have the National Bowling Tournament downstairs. Must be a couple thousand people in the bowling alley. As you know, the Showboat has the largest bowling lanes east of the Mississippi, so...
Maybe as they get eliminated, they can come up here and watch the fights.
Well, we'll certainly welcome them.
Round 2. James Williams in the brown trunks, Robby Epps in the purple, or lavender, if you will. Epps is the tall one at 6'2". Williams, who took the first round, may also be taking the second the way he's starting.
There's that left hook you were talking about earlier, Don. He's catching Epps with it when Epps is moving back.
And he's catching him solid shots with that left hook.
Yes, he is. Epps is dropping that right hand, and that's a bad mistake with a man that can throw a left hook.
Epps has scored heavily himself, but he can't get the leverage in his punches in close. Again, Williams dominating it, making Epps fight his fight, is back to the ropes. Again and again, Williams has been beating Epps to the punch. Joey Curtis is the referee. 2 minutes left in round 2 of this 10-rounder.
You notice Don Epps has got a slight red mark over that right eye. And
was that where he was cut the last time?
That's where he was cut the last time. It took around 7 or 8 stitches. So,
that's not good.
No, it isn't. He has those protruding eyelads that are very easily cut with those left hooks.
Promising young fighter. He's only 22 years old. And he's won 26 out of 27, only losing a decision to Henry Walker with 13 knockouts.
He's a good, pleasing fighter, too, Don. A very educated young man. He's in his last year of college.
Studying to be a veterinarian.
Yes, he is.
We were talking about that this afternoon.
And I love to see that in a fighter. That eye has got a little redder with those right hands.
Yes, and it's starting to bleed.
Notice his corner is getting ready.
Cut around the right eye. That's the vulnerable one.
Yes, it is.
A minute to go in the round.
Jerry Moore is a good cut man. Robby Epps is manager, and he's going to have his work cut out for him.
I'll say this for Williams. He has made Epps fight his fight. And that's always a plus for a boxer. Make the other fellow fight the way you want him to fight. Epps trying to stay away now so he can use those long arms for punching power. But he's beaten to the punch again. Epps tried to spin Williams into the ropes and then moved away. 10 seconds to go in the round. Is a bell ending round 2. Another good round for James Williams.
Williams keeps on pressing that, Don, and that's what you really have to do with a young man like Epps. That long left jab with that overhand right can take a fighter like Williams and put him in big trouble unless he stands inside, and Williams is going to the body and then coming up to the head, which is the way to handle that taller opponent that he has.
Tony, I noticed the referee, Joey Curtis, was taking a look at that cut, too.
Here you can notice where Williams steps off and he measures Epps real close. And when that jab came down, he threw that straight right hand right over the top. You notice Epps dropping backwards there. And that was a stunning blow. It really was. And that's one of them that kind of opened up that cut over Epps's eye.
The bout is scheduled for 10 rounds. Williams was born in Portland, Oregon, January 22nd, 1953. He's 27, 5 feet 11. He now lives in Portland. Epps was born in Greenville, South Carolina, July 7th, 1958. Now lives in Los Angeles. Epps in the lavender trunks, scoring that long right hand, but Williams coming back with a good jab.
The cut that Epps has is right in the corner of the left eyelid, which is a tough place if it starts swelling, because you cannot see that right hand coming.
Williams is fighting a smart fight. Williams has won 13 and lost 5 with 2 draws. Epps has a great record, 26 out of 27, a decision loss.
And that to a veteran old pro.
Epps just can't catch his rhythm here. Oh, now he rocked Williams. Williams played a little possum, but he was hurt. And Epps tried to measure him on the ropes. Less than 2 minutes to go in round 3. We'll see the effect of that punch when they get out in the center again. Williams is really rocked backwards. Williams still full of fight. Epps is shortening up on his punches now and is scoring on the inside. Williams still keeps him against the ropes. The tide has turned in favor of Robby Epps. 1 minute to go in this round, even though they slug it out at each other. Williams is now lunging in. He hasn't got the finesse he had earlier, but he still scores well.
And 1.5 free, keep on banging there. Come on.
You hear the referee tell them to get out.
But they're fighting in there, Don. They're loose, and they're throwing good, solid blows, and they're landing.
Williams is still full of bounce.
Good straight jab by Williams.
But Epps took the play away and hurt him with that left hook.
Yes, he did. He pushed him right backwards, and he's not letting him crowd him with 10 seconds to go.
Round almost over. As they battle in Williams' corner. There's the bell.
All right, breathe in. Once more. Now, once more. That's it, Bobby.
Possibly we can see that straight. Here's that punch that put Williams on his heels, but it was a good punch, Don. Epps kind of measures him up here and then falls off and just drops that right hand.
There it is.
Rocking him back. Little possum, as you say, but you can tell when a man is hurt. When those knees buckle, you can possum all you want to. You're hurt.
That's the veteran in him.
Oh, yes.
He knew what to do. He's 27 years old, and he's been around.
Side to side is easy.
Motor Mouth Mike Morton is his manager, who was in his corner. Here is round 4 between Robby Epps of Los Angeles and James Williams in the brown trunks from Portland, Oregon. It's a very close bout at the moment. Williams turns southpaw with the right hand leading. He's in the brown trunks. And he's bothering Epps again, as he did in rounds 1 and 2. Now Epps shortens up and gets out of there and throws a grazing punch. Tony, win or lose or draw, Williams is putting on a show here.
Yes, he is. He's putting on a fantastic show, and especially against a young man with 1 loss out of 27 wins.
That's pretty good.
I see that Jerry Moore has those cuts closed up fairly well over Epps's eyes, and as long as they don't open up again and give him any trouble, we're in for a good fight here.
Well, I hate thinking of the future. I hate to see that happen to a young fellow. I mean, if he's going to get cut this way all the time, I don't see much future for him in boxing.
Well, it actually started with a bad butt about 3 cuts ago, Don, and it opened his eye fairly bad. And they're taking the treatments now, the treatments that are supposed to cauterize that cartilage over
Yeah, well, maybe you ought to lay off a couple of months and let them heal. However, that's the matchmaking department. Epps may have hurt Williams again. He's also working the body, which is smart. Williams mainly has gone to the head, and he's been very effective there. Williams is sticking out his head, inviting a punch, and then pulling it back.
But if your opponent does a little heel and toe there and steps in on you and gets that measurement right,
Good night.
that can be costly.
Less than a minute to go in this round, round 4, and a little bit of blood showing around that left eye of Robby Epps. Even though he's winning the round, he's warned to keep his punches up. He apologizes. Big punch by Williams.
Got it right on that edge of that eye again, Don. Those right hands on that eye are starting to take their toll again.
Epps is smart enough every so often to go to the body and bring that guard down. Williams is concentrating on the head. Both are going for the head, but Epps is also hitting the body. Wow, what a miss.
Up and down, all around.
Time running out in round 4. There's the bell. Well, I've got the fight pretty even, Tony.
I did,
After 4
too.
rounds.
I think that it's one of those hard fights to judge. You have to watch it very closely because that inside fighting makes a big difference too, and they're always scoring.
We've had a fine series, and this is a compliment to you, Tony, a fine series of bouts on Sports Channel since I joined the organization back in June. There's Robby Epps getting the treatment from Jerry Moore, his co-manager.
It's a pleasure to watch a good corner at work, too, Don. There's so many times that you sit and wonder if the corner people really have the skills to handle that fighter in there.
And if they don't, they shouldn't be there. It's
really
important.
You understand? If we want to win this fight, we can win.
Coming up to the halfway mark of this 10-round bout between Robby Epps of Los Angeles and James Williams of Portland, Oregon. Williams in the brown. Epps is in the lavender. Epps 3 inches taller at 6'2". Epps 160 pounds. Williams 161. They're both legitimate middleweights. And as Tony told you, Robby Epps is certainly near the tallest of the middleweights, all of them, at 6'2". Tommy Hearns is a welterweight champion. He's 6'2", but that's unusual.
Very unusual.
Oh, Williams nailed him with that sucker right hand. And that's something Epps has got to learn to defend against. Very even fight here in the 5th round.
I'm not sure if Epps is having a little bit of visual problem out of that left eye and not seeing that right, sneaky right hand coming over, Don.
Well, that was a left hook. He didn't see that either.
No, he didn't.
Less than 2 minutes to go in the round. Again, Williams holding Epps against the ropes. Somebody yelled, "Move, Robby," and that's what he's got to do, Tony. Move.
He's got to get out in the middle of that ring and use those boxing skills, Don, because he certainly has them, but Williams hadn't given him the chance, and very smart on his part.
That's right. Well, the trouble is that Epps backs away as he sees Williams coming at him instead of going sideways.
Really? And he's pulling his head back, and that is dangerous.
They say no lateral movement? Or is that a football term?
I think that's a football term, but it certainly does apply to boxing.
It applies to Robby Epps. But he's a good fighter and maybe one of our better prospects. However, he's a long way from winning this fight.
Yes, he is.
With eyes that are subject to cut and an opponent who gives him no rest. Those punches by Williams have got to take a toll on Epps. He's gotten a lot of good shots on the jaw.
And those are good, solid shots, too, Don. They aren't glancing blows. Williams is planting those feet and firing that shot all the way down from the tips of his toes.
Not to belabor the point, but Robby Epps needs punching room, and Williams won't give it to him. Epps has those long arms at 6'2". And when he hurts Williams, it's out in the center of the ring, like now, for instance.
I'm surprised that Robby isn't circling him more and cutting off that ring and keeping him in the middle.
Now he's got Williams against the ropes. Time running out in the round. Almost over. Body shot. That was low. And he's going to lose a point. The referee is taking a point away from Epps. The bout is scored on the 10-point must. So whatever points Epps got in that round, take off 1. But he may have lost the round anyway.
And that's lost many a fights, too, Don, at one point.
Oh, yes. Sports Channel is New York's newest concept in cable TV sports. Now you can see exclusive coverage of the Islanders and Nets, the Yankees and the Mets, as well as the finest in area college events. It's a complete action package with a New York accent. When you can't get to the game, get the game at home on Sports Channel. The best in New York sports at home.
Down here, we're going to take a look at that low blow. There it is. It's a left hook, and it catches him right underneath that belt line, and that's about the 3rd time the referee, Joey Curtis, has warned him. I don't think it was intentional, but when you're that tall, sometimes it's very difficult.
Well, even if you're not, it hurts just as much.
Oh, that's true. That doesn't do anything for the pain.
Round 6. Robby Epps, the tall fellow in the lavender trunks. James Williams in the brown trunks. A very close fight. Williams may have a shade at this point, but that's my unofficial opinion. If he has, he's on his way to scoring an upset. And he's dominating the fight at the moment and carrying it to Epps. And Epps still troubled by that left eye, which is cut again. Williams goes down. Is this a knockdown? It is. It's being scored a knockdown. He's taking the mandatory 8 count. He says it's not a knockdown. He was off balance, but maybe Epps forced him off. Now Williams is just laughing. He doesn't believe it. The replay will probably show what happened. I think Epps applied a little force, and Williams was also off balance, Tony.
I think so, too. I think Williams was going back, and Epps kept on coming forward, and he just kind of tripped over his heels and went down.
Anyway, it's scored as a knockdown. The one and only of the fight so far. Williams back holding Epps against the ropes. Epps trying to get out of there to measure Williams.
Did a good job of spinning out that time, Don.
Yes, and he's hitting him hard body shots now. And short uppercuts. A turnaround here with Williams now against the ropes. A minute to go in the round. Williams goes southpaw. He effectively did it earlier in the fight. Didn't work from this time. And again, that trickle of blood from around the left eye of Robby Epps. You can see it at long range. Epps is doing a good job in this round, plus the knockdown, if it was one. Big rally for Robby Epps. Just above our sports channel microphones. Williams is holding Epps against the rope, but Epps is doing the scoring with only seconds remaining in the round. Epps is measuring his man now. There's the bell finally.
It was a good round for Robby Epps, Don. He worked it smart. Moved Williams around, spun himself out of the corners when he had him against the ropes.
I've got an even fight at this point.
With that point that...
Three apiece.
And you're going to rip. Shorten up on them.
The judges, Hal Miller, Dwayne Ford, and Dalby Shirley, are the ones who will do the scoring of the fight. The referee does not score.
Once more, Bobby. That's good.
Here we can take a look and see if that truly was a knockdown. Williams is going backwards. Epps fires a right hand, a left hook, and then keeps on following him. He's actually almost stepped on his toe there, if I'm not mistaken.
Was off balance.
He was off balance, and down he went.
But anyway, it still counts a knockdown. It's official.
He's tired.
The only one of the fight so far. There's Williams getting to his feet. Robby Epps in the purple trunks. Joey Curtis, the referee, doing a nice job. The issue lies in the balance. Epps is able to use that long right hand of his now as he comes in at long range. As long as he's got Williams against the ropes, he's effective, especially at long range. When Williams keeps him at against the ropes, it's another story. Solid shot.
Good right hand by
Maybe
Robby
the best of the fight.
Yes, there is.
You see the effect. That may have a delayed effect on Williams. Williams is starting to flinch a little bit as Epps comes at him. He's being bothered now. Williams.
1.5, keep on back. Now let's get out.
Let's get out, says the referee, but they don't have to. They break without being told. Epps is dominating the action now. He's the tall one in the lavender trunks. Williams is leaning in, but now he is taking punishment as he comes in.
Epps is shortening up those punches and throwing those little short hooks, which are starting to connect a lot better.
Referee says get off the ropes. Epps would like to, but Williams won't let him. Been a very good action-packed fight, Tony.
Yes, it has.
Williams is coming back now. This tide swings and turns and turns and swings. A minute to go in the round.
They certainly haven't slacked off much. They've punched all the way through, Don.
They're playing this one like bantamweights. Getting a little sluggish for the moment. Epps may be getting his second wind or trying to get it.
Jackson
slows down.
Keeping a pace up like that, you've got to burn out a little bit.
Now he's out slugging Williams. Again and again, Epps has shifted to the body, but Williams has never done that I remember, Tony.
No, he hasn't. He has strictly head-hunted all the way. I think he's noticed a little bit of that blood around the eyes, and he's trying to either cut Epps with those left hooks and right hands or hopefully trying to knock him out. Although Williams is bleeding a little from the mouth down from the nose in the end of the round.
That was a very good round for Robby Epps, and may put him ahead in the fight. There's Robby over in his corner. Now the eye seems to be all right for the moment. They're not applying any of that medication to it. They're just going to leave it alone, apparently. Oh, no. That's a little cut near the other eye now.
Sit down.
On the corner of both of them. He's putting a little bit of pressure on it, which should coagulate that bleeding, and then a little Vaseline should protect it from those gloves snagging on it.
You know, there was
Here's a good flurry by Epps and Williams in that one corner. Now, those punches are landing. Some of them are glancing a little bit, but the majority of them are finding their mark.
They're popping the head back, as you can see.
Yes, they are.
You notice it better in slow-mo.
And that certainly takes its toll after a while.
Coming up to round 8 of this 10-rounder, a fine middleweight bout. Robby Epps of Los Angeles, James Williams of Portland, Oregon. In James Williams' corner, they're telling him this is a whole career. You better get going. It's round 8. The issue in doubt. A very close fight. Robby Epps, the tall fellow in the lavender trunks. James Williams in the brown. I don't know if you remember Jimmy Bivens, the fine heavyweight out of Cleveland years ago, Tony, but James Williams resembles him around the face.
No, I don't.
Determined expression.
I was noticing that Williams has a way of, when Epps gets ready to fire that right hand, he kind of puts that chin, tucks that chin, and ducks under it, and Epps just isn't quite getting the mark. He's going over the top.
Williams always seems to get out in front in the round, but Epps comes on later. 2 minutes left here. Not too many effective punches yet in this round. Now Epps is coming on. He's a late starter.
Williams is breathing a little with his mouth open, which usually is a sign of a little tiring.
And I noticed that Epps is very effective with the left elbow. That body shot did him no good.
No, that I think was about an inch or two, a little low too. But he paid for that one, so I'm sure he's trying to watch it as best he can.
Williams again holding Epps against the ropes. Epps doesn't like it, but he's been effective there lately himself.
Don, I'd like to say that 80 was a pleasure working with you. We put on some great fights here at the Showboat for Sports Channel, and 81 is going to be even better.
Oh, I'm sure it will, Tony. Your bouts keep getting better, and that makes them easier to do.
Well, thank you, my friend. From you, that's a compliment.
Less than a minute to go here, and Epps is still scoring with those borderline punches. They're not low and they're not high. Now this is a pretty even round, and has turned into a good round. That's legal. You've got to defend yourself at all times.
Williams shouldn't be pulling back like that with those long arms of Epps. He's liable to catch one right on the chin.
Epps may have hurt him here. Williams is a little bit wobbly.
Trying to hold on a little bit there, Don.
Only seconds left to go in the round.
Bell may be in Williams' favor if there was half a round to go. He might have been in trouble.
He's bleeding from the nose. The end of round 8, a good round for Robby Epps, who seems to be pulling away now.
Epps knows that was a good round for him, too. You could tell with the expression when he went back to his corner. That you always get that feeling when you're kind of pulling away in a fight.
That bleeding from Williams' nose isn't going to help him any.
No, it isn't. He's starting to leave that mouth open a little, too, and breathing through the mouth. And that's
Joey Curtis over to look at the fighter.
We can take a look here, Don, and see one of those punches coming in there and find out how low it is. Yeah, I would say that has got to kind of hurt that kidney and liver a little bit when it gets down.
30% no and 70% yes on that one. Robby Epps getting medicated as we come up to round 9 of a 10-rounder.
His corner should be complimented on working on those cuts. They've done an excellent job.
And that left eye may be closing, though.
It is. The cheekbone is even a little swollen down. It's going to be kind of hard to see that right hand coming over the top. If Williams got enough to fire that good crisp right, he could...
Williams has gone southpaw again. He's done it once or twice. First time he did it, it was very effective. The second time it wasn't. Here it is. Makes the Epps think a little bit.
It does. It confuses him a little, and Epps should have that left foot outside of Williams' right foot and stop that southpaw from going to his power.
You know, one round is like another. Williams always gets off in front in the first minute, and then Epps comes on. You know, Epps has a good jab, but he's not been able to use it tonight.
He has
all the action in close.
The last fight he had with Sugar Ray Phillips from Texas, that jab was just working like a pump. It was just...
Tony, there's that blood again. That left eye, it's bleeding a little harder.
Yes, it is.
It's a good thing for Epps. The fight is almost over. This is the 9th round, and this is about half over.
Actually, I think that's one of the reasons that Williams went to that southpaw stance, feeling that left jab instead of the right hand jab, and could open that eye back up again. And
right. Or his good hand, the right, was closer to the eye. Action slowing down a little bit. It will speed up. It always has. Some of these rounds are pretty hard to judge.
They are. They seem to go back and forth, as you say, Don. One moment one's ahead, and the next moment the other one climbs on the next rung of the ladder.
A minute to go in round 9, and they're slugging it out on equal terms. Williams barges in there every so often. Hey, Williams was hurt by that right.
He hurt him with that one. He barged in.
Epps didn't follow it up.
Didn't follow through. Did not follow through. Don had him rocking. Could have stepped back with a good left hook behind it and maybe walked away with the fight.
Maybe.
Tried again. It didn't work. Hurt him again.
Left hook this time. Williams in trouble on the ropes just above us. And the round is almost over.
It'll be the second time Williams
is wobbly. The bell.
That's the second time that the bell has been in Williams' favor. Both times now in the 8th and the 9th round. Reps hurt him in that last 10 seconds and just didn't know how to get in and finish him off. That is so important. Let's take a look at that punch that hurt Williams on the end of the round here. Epps is kind of sizing him up, just waiting for that one good shot. Williams lunges in. As you that left around. Really, if that left hook had connected and stepped off with another right hand.
Every day, this is the time you...
Well, let's bring you up to date as we come to the 10th and final round of a fairly close fight.
Be a champion.
Epps was penalized a point in the 5th round for a low blow. He had been warned a couple of times earlier by referee Joey Curtis, who finally took a point away from him. And that goes off all cards. And in the 6th round, Williams was called for being down for a mandatory 8 count. It was questionable whether it was a knockdown or not. He definitely was off balance, but he did go down, and they counted over it. So that brings you up to date. The scoring is a 10-point must system by 3 judges, Al Miller, Dwayne Ford, and Dalby Shirley. And again, Williams is getting off in front in the early part of the round. You know, if Williams had been able to sustain that, Tony, he might have won the fight.
Yes,
I'm not saying he won't win it anyway, but I rather guess that Epps is ahead.
I think those last 2 rounds kind of slid Epps ahead. It's that 1 point can make a difference that they penalized him.
Let's get out. Let's get out.
The 10th and final round here on... Oh, there's a low one. That's going to cost him again. And Williams has gone down. The referee may give him time to recover.
That was a low blow.
That was definitely low. Referee Joey Curtis may give Williams time to recover.
There it comes back, Don. Let's take a close look at it.
Here's a quick one. Nice work by our director.
Yes, it is.
Watch
right
it.
hand.
Oh, that even hurt me.
Yes, sirree. Epps almost knelt down to throw that left hook.
Another point is being deducted.
This may cost Epps the fight.
It could very well. And Williams may be allowed up to 5 minutes if the referee deems it necessary. But I don't think he'd be. Oh, the referee says, let's go. We have had enough rest. Time was out during all that. I'll say this. There was no doubt about that low blow.
No, you'd have to have a belt around your knees to call that.
Williams can't be hurt. He's fighting back hard.
He knows with those 2 points now that he has an excellent chance of stealing this round. He may take the fight, Don.
About a minute to go. He probably will win the rounds where he is gifted a point because of the low blows. I'm talking about Williams. Time running out now.
Epps should step back, give himself some punching power, measure with that left hand, and then step off and throw that right.
If Epps could win the round and lose 1 point, he'd be no worse than a draw in the round.
That's
which wouldn't be bad for him at this point.
It might turn out to be a draw, too, Don, with those 2 points that he lost.
Right.
You know, that's just speculation on my part, but the way I was scoring it, I had him a couple rounds ahead, so...
Well, this might not be a bad rematch, Tony, if you have the time sometime.
Really, and if this round turned off even with Epps losing that 1 point, it could turn this fight around and make it a draw.
It's almost over now.
25
Jimmy Lennon announced 25. There's less than that now. Seconds to go. Maybe 15 now. Williams got a new lease on life. He was badly hurt when he took that low blow. Fight is practically over. There's the bell. Well, another point lost for Robby Epps.
In that last and 10th. That might have been a costly point, too, but it was a very low blow, and it's surprising that Williams recovered as well as he did.
I'm surprised that Epps was so careless.
Here we go back to the low blow, Don. Seemed that Williams was kind of rushing in. Epps throws that straight overhand right after the jab, comes back with that hook, and, oh. That hurt, let me tell you.
We're waiting now. The judges, Hal Miller, Dwayne Ford, and Dalby Shirley, I'll get that right, are the judges. The referee, the commissioner is Harold Buck, who's going over the cards, along with Commissioner Roy Tennyson for the Nevada State Athletic Commission. And a very nice, gentlemanly Robby Epps has gone over to tell James Williams probably that he was sorry he punched him low, and he's doubly sorry because he lost a point because of it.
2 in all. And both those eyes are pretty well cut up, Don.
I'd recommend a pretty good rest for him until they heal.
Really, and maybe
he
even
needs
a little bit of surgery.
I was thinking that. Jimmy Lennon is going to get the cards, and this is a very interesting decision. The 10-point must, 10 points to the winner of a round, 9 or less to the loser. Epps was penalized for a low blow in the 5th and 10th rounds. He lost a point on each card at the mandate of the referee, Joey Curtis. And Williams was also given time to recover in the 10th round, and he needed that time because he was taking a lathering just before that. We're up to the center of the ring, and Jimmy Lennon.
You're to have a unanimous decision. Reminding you, in round 5 and round number 10, Robby Epps has been penalized 1 point in each round. It is taken from the total that I will read. Dwayne Ford at ringside scores at 97-91. Hal Miller, 96-94. Dalby Shirley, 97-92. Unanimously the winner, Robby Epps.
Williams just rolled his eyes and looked up at the ceiling when he heard that, but it's a good decision.